Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about some amazing facts about clams. You might think that clams aren't that interesting because they just seem like boring, simple creatures. But clams are actually way more interesting than they may seem. So let's get right into it. Fact number 1, simple yet effective structure. Have you ever held a clam in your hands? If so, you probably already know that clams have 2 hard shells. Well, these shells aren't just hard, they also fit together perfectly when closed, which makes it very difficult for any predators to open them. These shells are what protects their soft bodies inside from being eaten by predators. But that's not all they do. Clams also have a foot that extends out from their body, and they use this foot to dig deep into the sand or mud where they live. This way they can hide from predators even further. Sometimes the part of the clam that sticks out of the sand or mud is just the tip of their shell. And depending on the size of the clam, the rest of their shell can be as much as 7 inches beneath the surface. How cool is that? 2, special lifestyle. Since clams spend most of their lives buried underground, they're considered burrowing animals. But don't think that they're lazy or slow. Although they can't swim around like dolphins and fish, they can dig surprisingly fast, especially when they need to escape from a predator or when the tide starts to go out. On average, clams tend to live buried in sand or mud around 5 to 10 centimeters below the surface. However, some species can burrow even deeper, sometimes as deep as 3 meters below the seabed. Clams normally dig by extending their foot forward and then wiggling it in the sand or mud. With each wiggle, they create a small space for themselves to move deeper. After making enough space, they pull the rest of their body through the hole they made with their foot and voila, they're now deeper underground. Clams are able to control how deep they want to burrow by how hard they wiggle their feet. The harder they wiggle, the faster they dig and the deeper they go. While burrowing, clams also make sure to cover their shells with sand. This helps protect them from predators who might try to find them by feeling around for their shells. Now, once they're completely covered in sand, clams can only move up and down. They can't move left or right. But since they usually bury themselves deep enough so that the top of their shells are at least under 5 centimeters of sand, they're pretty safe from most predators. And if a predator does somehow manage to eat them, some clam species have special adaptations to make themselves taste bad. For example, some clams have a bitter taste or a slimy texture that most animals don't like. Yum! Number 3, food. Clams are filter feeders, which means they feed on very tiny food particles suspended in seawater. In order to catch these particles, clams take in water through their shells and then filter the water to remove the particles. Clams can filter up to 40 liters of water per hour. Imagine how much water they filter in a day, a week, or even a year. That's a lot of filtered water. Normally, they feed on plankton, bacteria, and other tiny organic matter floating in the water. To collect these particles, clams have specialized gills that have tiny hair-like structures called cilia. These cilia move back and forth very quickly, creating currents that pull food particles towards them. Once the food particles touch the gills, they stick to the sticky mucus covering the gills. Then the cilia move the food particles to the mouth of the clam. So basically, clams use their gills both to breathe and to eat. It's like having a built-in straw to collect food. Now, aside from eating the particles directly, clams also swallow them whole. After the clam swallows the particles, they grind them up with a shell-like structure in their mouths called a radula. After grinding them up, the clam's stomach acids break down the food, allowing the clam to absorb all the nutrition. And this way, thanks to clams filtering the water environment becomes cleaner. So next time you see a clam, remember that it's not just a boring creature. It's a hard-working filter feeder that helps keep our oceans clean. 4, impregnable. Have you ever heard the word impregnable before? It means impossible to capture or impossible to destroy. Well, clams are almost impregnable because when they feel threatened or when the tide goes out, they shut their shells tightly, trapping water inside their shells. This water keeps the clam moist and allows them to survive even when it's low tide. And even though there are some animals that can eat clams, most predators can't eat clams because their shells are just too hard to chew and digest. So even if a predator manages to catch a clam, the predator will just spit it out because their teeth are not strong enough to crush the hard shells. Now, although a clam's shell may seem hard on the outside, it's actually made up of 3 layers. The outer layer is called the periostracum, and it's a thin membrane that covers the rest of the shell. The middle layer is called the prismatic layer, and it's made up of many tiny calcite crystals. Finally, the innermost layer is called the nacreous layer, or mother of pearl. This layer is the strongest and most beautiful part of the shell. The nacreous layer is also what gives the shell its iridescent, colorful look. This layer is made up of thousands of tiny plates of a mineral called aragonite. Each plate is about 1/200th of a millimeter thick, and they're all stacked on top of each other with a thin layer of protein between them. The plates are also slightly tilted, which gives the shell its strength. Now here's an interesting fact. The thicker the plates and the smaller the gaps between them, the stronger the shell. For example, the shells of clams that live in deeper waters tend to have thicker plates and smaller gaps, which is why their shells are stronger. The same is true for older clams. As clams grow older, their shells become thicker, which also makes their shells stronger. But not all clams have equally strong shells. For example, the soft-shell clam has a very weak shell compared to the hard-shell clam. This is why the hard-shell clam can live longer and survive more predators than the soft-shell clam. Number 5. Surprisingly long lifespan. Many people don't realize that clams can live for more than a decade. Yes, you heard me right. Some species of clams can live for more than 10 years. However, these numbers are nothing compared to the lifespan of some deep-sea clams. There are some species of deep-sea clams that can live more than 200 years. Just imagine how much water they must have filtered during their lifetimes. If you think that this is really surprising, wait till you hear this. There's one species of deep-sea clam called the ocean quahog that scientists believe can live as long as 500 years. That means that some ocean quahog clams were alive during the construction of the Great Wall of China, the first voyage of Ferdinand Magellan around the world, and the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Number 6. Economic and culinary value. Clams are a type of bivalve, which means that they belong to the same group as oysters and scallops. All of these are very nutritious and delicious. Clams are especially rich in protein, iron, zinc, and vitamin B12. This makes them a great source of nutrition for humans. In some countries, clams are an important part of the diet. In Vietnam, for example, clams are often cooked into delicious dishes such as steamed clams with lemongrass, clam porridge, and grilled clams with scallion oil. These dishes are not only tasty, but also very healthy. In addition to their nutritional value, clams also have a special flavor that many people love. Some people say they taste like salty bacon or a salty, crunchier abalone. Others say they have a unique flavor that's hard to describe. But one thing's for sure, clams are definitely not bland. They have a distinct flavor that sets them apart from other types of seafood. If you've never tried clams before, I highly recommend it. You might just find that you love them. Well, folks, that's it for today's video. We hope you enjoyed learning about some of the amazing facts about clams. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.